Oh, nice.
They put them on for free.
Nice. Live the dream.
You're probably their #1 customer of the year. You're always there.
God,
It was like me and my old Jetta that always broke my heart. My mechanics would be like, "You're our highest paying customer of the year."
Awesome. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks. For the shitty coffee. So you can take a snack too if you want. That's how good you are. 2 minutes. So smile and have fun, guys. Yay!
Finding out. There's the man. Coop. Good, how you doing? Good. That looks good. Did you graduate?
Yeah, I know.
No, you're what? You're yeah. Great, cool.
How you guys do?
All right, what are you up to today?
Filming for Dave Stewart.
Oh, cool. All right.
Have a good broadcast.
Yeah, we'll do. Dave's down there somewhere. I saw him walking around. So, by the neon green.
He's going to say he's either bright orange
Hey kid, let me see your camera.
Frank has such a visceral reaction to anything related
You
to
understand? Like, he blatantly plagiarized and stole everything he said on his last, like,
Can you open the show with that?
you, at some point in time, it's coming out. Like, I'm gonna. Good afternoon and welcome to a special edition of Nutmeg Sports here on the HAN Network. I'm Frank Granito and I'm coming to you live today from the campus of New Canaan High School, where we feature the 9th annual National Select 7-on-7 Grip It and Rip It passing tournament, featuring 32 teams today, a tournament that started with only 4 9 years ago. 23 from Connecticut, 8 from New York, 7 of our own FCAC teams, and 1 team from Canada. Joining me today on the broadcast, my partner in crime, Mr. John Kovach. John, how you doing today?
Frank, I'm surrounded by football games. How do you think I'm doing? I'll give you one guess.
It's unbelievable getting to cover football in July this early. Let's start by talking about the tournament, John. 9 years ago, only 4 teams at this small tournament, including Greenwich and New Canaan, all the way up to 32 now, including a team from Canada. How incredible is this?
A team from Canada, and I was just before we came on the air talking to a coach. They had driven 3.5 hours down from a suburb of Albany.
It really is incredible, the evolution of 7-on-7 over the past 10 years with the evolution of the passing game in football, and we see the enthusiasm and excitement for teams to show up from all across the country to go to these tournaments. But let's take a second and look inside the bubble. We've got a lot of FCAC teams here, and they'll be exciting to watch.
A lot of FCAC teams. They always have a good turnout here. They get a good number of kids who sacrifice their summer to do this and to make themselves better football players. It's why the level of competition is where it is in the FCAC. It's why there's 2 teams from outside of Albany that came down. As that same coach I was talking to has another team from his conference that has joined them down here. It's why we have a team from Canada here. The level of competition is really second to none.
And you talk about teams doing the extra things to get better. What does this tournament allow or do to make these teams better players in the long run?
I think offensively it does a lot for the timing, and we'll talk more about this today and during our broadcast tomorrow. The timing between the quarterback and his receivers, the timing on route running, the precision in the spread offense. You have so many crossing routes that you really need to time those up right. Defensively, the calls, the communication, so crucial to the defense. You get to practice those here. I want to say live, but there's no hitting, and we'll get to that. It's not going to be football like you will see in the fall here on the HAN network, but you're going to see essentially past skeleton that you as a coach and I as a coach are familiar with.
And ultimately, I feel like you're trying to say you're building that sense of chemistry that is so necessary when you get into the dog days of fall and really into the heart of your season.
You're building that brotherhood that football forges as you're spending time on the field with your teammates. The other thing that I think these do, and it will particularly affect the CIAC teams, as their coaches are not allowed to coach them directly during this. That creates a leadership vacuum that needs to be filled. What I like to do when I'm coaching is see who steps up. Okay, here's the leadership void. I'm going to watch this now and see which of my kids steps up and takes over. Is it my quarterback? Who is it? And that kid, those kids, will probably be captains coming up.
Well, we talk about chemistry, we talk about leadership roles and stepping up. Let's start with the team that really stepped up last year, the defending FCIAC and state champions, the Darien Blue Wave. They're coming into this tournament off a win just last weekend at the Fordham 7-on-7 tournament. What kind of a chance do they have today, John?
Everybody's got a chance today. It's 7-on-7. It's a bounce. It's a blown coverage. It's a missed communication. But they're Darien, and they just reloaded. So them, New Canaan, Greenwich. I'll be curious to watch Greenwich to see how they're developing under John Marinelli going into his second year. I'll be curious to see some of these other teams, Fairfield Prep, as they try to come back from really what was a rough season for them and against unfamiliar competition that they really haven't seen before.
This is true. Daniel Hand is another team who's in that Class M division. We'll see a Windsor team that gave New Canaan a very tough game in the quarterfinals last year. Focusing in the FCIAC, Trinity Catholic is here, along with Norwalk, St. Joe's, Stanford, as they'll all have their appearances. The big three, New Canaan, Greenwich, Darien, they've got a lot of question marks. They're expected to be up around the top of a much more balanced FCIAC. Let's get into detail now. New Canaan's got some quarterback controversy going on. What do we think has to happen for them to sort of straighten that out?
Somebody has to establish themselves. And is it the newcomer who comes in with a lot of hype, or is it the backup to Michael Collins who logically would succeed him? And we'll find out a little bit about that today.
A couple of cons that come with this tournament, as great as it is, we see little things, especially us as former coaches, and we know the game very well. The pass drops of linebackers, we've talked about this. It really suffers in a game like this.
You want all of your defenders to take their read steps, and they're treating plays as a run first, particularly your linebackers. You watch this, and if you really want to see something and nitpick football today and tomorrow, watch the linebackers. See how many of them take those one or two read steps toward the line of scrimmage before they read pass, open up, and go to their drops. What they're going to do is immediately jump the route. That's why I know of at least one 7-on-7 tournament down in New Jersey that allows draws. It just keeps the linebackers honest. I'm not opposed to that idea.
No, and you're right. The whole point of these tournaments is to make the players better, to really develop them as full players. When linebackers start to cheat away from the run, it does suffer a little bit, but we've got a lot of exciting stuff to come today. In case you're just joining us now, we're at New Canaan High School for the 7-on-7 annual Grip It and Rip It passing tournament. Today starts the round robin play. We have 32 teams. Each team will play all 4 teams in the 8 different groups. Tomorrow we'll have a double elimination full bracket starting early in the morning, and we will have live coverage of that for the semifinals and finals. John and I are going to take a quick break here on Nutmeg Sports on the HAN Network, but when we come back, we're joined by Joe Buard of Football University.
Have a sports injury or a slip and fall that needs immediate care? Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care gives you direct access to an orthopedic specialist fast, without an appointment. Biking, golf, tennis, soccer, whatever the sports injury is, sprain or fracture, Coastal Ortho Express can help. Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care, open Monday through Saturday, now in 2 locations. The iPark building at 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk and 36 Old Kings Highway South in Darien. Or go to coastalorthoexpress.com, like them on Facebook.
Warm weather, light breezes, boats are in the water. There's no better place to celebrate summer than the Dock Shop. Whether in Darien at 51 Tokenique Road or Westport at 609 Riverside Avenue, the Dock Shop is where you'll find everything you need to kick off summer. From the latest summer apparel to the newest fishing tackle, the Dock Shop will help you get the most out of your next beach day or harbor cruise. At the Dock Shop, you'll find a wonderful selection of items made in the USA and right here in New England, all with a distinct nautical flair. Boater, beach bum, fisherman, or simply love the coastal lifestyle, this is a unique place to shop. DockShop.com.
For more than 50 years, Triple S has been Fairfield County's expert service for carpet, upholstery, and drapery cleaning. We provide the best in repairs and in-depth restoration, understanding fabrics and how to properly clean and restore them. Our staff will come to your home to clean your wall-to-wall carpet to perfection. We can also pick up your fine carpets and bring them to our facilities. With locations in Norwalk, Stamford, and Stratford, Triple S will get the job done fast, big or small. At Triple S, you can count on our people as well as our cleaning. Find us at triplesclean.com or 203-847-8000.
I'm John Kovach. I'm a newspaper editor. I'm a high school football coach. I'm a television presenter. And I want you to love fishing as much as I do. Tune in to Yankee Fisherman, Thursdays at 1 on the HAN network. It's like going to the tackle shop without leaving your office.
You're watching the HAN network, and you're not alone. Nearly 1 million people have watched our live sports, news, and entertainment programming since the network launched in August 2015. Advertise on the network that reaches Fairfield County, Connecticut's most engaged audience. Contact Advertising Director Jessica Murrin at 203-273-7312 or email jessica@han.network.
And we are back here live at New Canaan High School for a special edition of Nutmeg Sports on the HAN Network. Frank Granito and John Kovach. Coming along with you is Joe Buard of Football University. Joe, thanks for taking time with us today.
Thanks, Frank. Great to be here, buddy.
An unbelievable spectacle, and before we get to how great this is, we want to talk to you a little bit first. What exactly is Football University doing today in America?
Well, Football University is a developmental camp program that we have 26 camps across the country, and we invite 6th grade to 12th graders to come and work with our NFL level coaches. And it's designed to be to mirror an NFL mini camp in the fact that it's high intensity drills on the field. We film those drills so that the athlete and the coach go back in the classroom to review and really develop their skill level on the critique they did on the field. And then we sprinkle in some team meetings, such as recruiting seminars, social media advocacy, leadership seminars, and then from there, it's just the kids got solid 12 hours of intense technique training development. We've done 26 of those camps. We just did one 2-3 weeks ago, earlier in the month. At the end of June, up at St. Joe's in Trumbull, and we had over 250 kids there. So it was great turnout to the talent in Connecticut.
And that's unbelievable having that many kids, and it's great that you're working from such a young age all the way through high school. The recruiting aspect too is unbelievable. You personally now, what is your role as you get through the dog days of summer here?
So my role within All-American Games, which is the parent company for Football University, we also run the U.S. Army All-American Bowl game. So my job is I have from almost Indiana, Ohio east when it comes to tracking and identifying the players that should be invited to participate in our different events, whether it be our FBU National Championships, our FBU camps, the Top Gun, more importantly, the higher level elite events such as the U.S. Army National Combine and the U.S. Army All-American Bowl.
And so we've got games like that coming up. I believe Top Gun is the first one that's approaching itself. What can we expect out of that event in the coming days and coming weeks,
Well, Top Gun's kind of neat. Top Gun is our national showcase camp. So we just got done running our 26 regional FBU camps. And from those camps, about 20 to 30% of those athletes per grade, per position, have now been invited to go compete on a national stage. So it's more of a showcase camp, not as much technique development. I always talk about Top Gun as being what is your technique like under the pressure of competition. So there, it's great for a kid, especially from Connecticut or specifically the Northeast, to go compete with kids from Georgia, California, Texas. And it really does help springboard some of these young guys' recruiting exposure, because we have the entire writing staff at 24/7 down there. Barton Simmons, Steve Whitfong, that crew's down there. Gary Howard and his whole evaluating staff of Exos Digital's there. So it's a great opportunity for a young athlete, specifically here in the Northeast, to really go against 2, 3, 4-star athletes and really make a name for themselves.
And of course, the one that a lot of people will be more familiar with is the U.S. Army All-American Game. That'll come up, I believe, in February. January, excuse me, the end of January. What is your role right now in trying to find players for that?
So basically, I go and we evaluate talent. So we have a committee that's made up of the selection committee that identifies the athletes that should be participating in that game. And so right now, I go to large events like this. I go to certain showcases, certain select camps, and identify who are those kids that should be on our watch list. And I really start tracking them as early as freshman, sophomore year. So these kids can be projected to be at that level of a prospect to be the top 100% or top 1% of the kids playing high school football in the country, and then just kind of filter them through the process, saying, working with the family, say these are the events you need to go to put you on the path that gives you that exposure to not only the colleges but also the ranking websites and the ranking companies, and that way they can really be selected into our game.
And with 32 teams here this weekend, I'm sure there's plenty of talent. Are there any players in particular that you're looking at right now?
Absolutely. I mean, we actually do have, I'm very proud to say, for the first time since 2009, we do have a player from the state of Connecticut playing in the U.S. Army All-American Bowl game in January, and that's Tyreek Black out of Cheshire Academy. The wide receiver, 6'4", 210 pounds, got 34 offers across the country, and out of Cheshire Academy. So Cheshire Academy's here today, and so yeah, very proud of him. I've been able to know him as a young man since 7th grade, since he's come through our various different events of FBU, seen him grow, mature, both not as an athlete but as a great young man, and very, very blessed. I think he's down to maybe 5 or 6 schools that he's now going to commit to in Notre Dame, UCLA, Alabama, I believe Michigan. I think Harvard snuck in there late for some of the key schools there that he's looking at. But yeah, he's obviously one of the best kids. But an event like this is drawing great schools and some great talent as well. There's quite a few Division I prospects that are coming in from a variety of different teams, both that are class of 2017 or 18 or even 19, even a 2020 kid that's coming in here. So there's a lot of good talent. When you just roll down some of the teams that are here, you look at, and I got my notes because there's so many of them. I don't want to miss anybody out, but real quick, just from we've out of the top 10 kids according to 24/7 Sports, the top 10 ranked players in Connecticut. We got 5 of them right here. And we would have with CJ Holmes, another great athlete coming out of Cheshire Academy, but he's at the opening in Nike up in and just committed to Notre Dame this morning, which is a great honor for him. And so he would be here too with his teammates, but he's out there representing the state of Connecticut and all in New England up there at the Nike opening at Beaverton area. But again, you look at just Cheshire Academy as one rep. You got Tyreek Black, you got Brandon Sebastian, who's I think going to BC, committed, and he's got 2-3 offers. You got CJ Lewis, their quarterback. He's got multiple offers there. They're even younger. Bryce Sebastian, he's got a couple offers already as a rising sophomore. So that's just Cheshire Academy. You got Brunswick here. Nicky Hankel, great quarterback there. He's got a couple offers. Rutgers, UConn, Yale have already offered him. He's on the verge of quite a few others. Talking to him about he was visiting a lot of campuses this weekend. Brunswick's got a great sophomore tight end that's really starting to make some waves, make some recognition for him. I know we got Daniel Hand here. You got Nick Leone, who's a stellar linebacker that I think a lot of the Ivy League schools are looking at, some of the 1AA high academic schools, Patriot League type schools. And they got a real young kid, Brian Casagrande, who I think he overcoming an injury because he couldn't attend the FBU camps, is at linebackers, is going to be really good as a prospect, and he's a 2018 kid. As you well know as I do, playing quarterback in New Canaan is pretty tough. So now when you got a young kid that's already coming in, Drew Payne, as a class of 2020 with 8 offers already coming in, that stresses a little bit more. So I'm, sat down with him, got to chat with him a little bit yesterday about some of our events and what he's tracking a little bit. On the flip side, some other parts of the state, we got New York coming in. Stepinac is loaded. They got a ton of great kids. Trill Williams, who's one of their new up-and-coming studs. That is defensive back kid, just got offered Buffalo last week. He's coming in. And Antonio Gianco, who's got he's a running back there, linebacker there. He's got multiple offers coming in. And there's numerous other kids that are really going to rise on that team of talent right there at Stepinac. You've got Cameron Jordan at Half Hollow Hills. He's a Cuse. He's a 2017 wide receiver, 6'4". He's going to Syracuse. They're here. Spring Valley, Devin Lawson, he's committed to BC, as a tight end. He's a 6'3", 235 kid. So, just some other area schools that are really coming in to play this thing that are be pretty good. And then, of course, I'm tracking kids all over the state. May not be here this weekend, may not be from the Fairfield County area. And I'm sure I missed a few other kids that are coming up in the ranks of the greater Fairfield County area that are projected to be some really good talent. Like, I know Richfield's not here, but Jackson Mitchell is a great grooming linebacker that's coming up that just came to FBU camps. He did very well. He was at our Army Combine last year. Tyson Pumachin out of Harding, who's got a UConn offer, and a few other schools are ready to pull the trigger on him. He's a budding, a blooming star soon. Trey Doss, another great quarterback coming out of Sacred Heart in Waterbury. Their team's not here today, but again, he's a 6'4" sophomore, 6'5", I think. Just he's really getting some good looks at Division I schools. So there's a lot of great talent, guys. A lot of great talent in the Nutmeg State, and it's great to discover and really help those kids achieve their dreams.
There is, and one other thing that we talked about on the show on Monday, Andrew Stuber, the offensive lineman for Michigan, for Darien, just committed to Michigan.
Yep.
And something that I found really shocking, if you look back to last year, New Canaan had Lucas Niang, who's now at TCU. It's very uncommon for the Connecticut to produce these giant linemen, or is this the trend the state is moving in, do you think?
Well, I think it might be a little bit of a trend, guys, because, the recruiting atmosphere is now shifting, where it used to be just send a VCR tape and head coach make a call and get into some relationships. Now with social media and with a lot of these numerous satellite camps, showcase events, kids from the Northeast, specifically Connecticut, are able to get out there and do things. And people are discussing, hey, we got pretty good football here in Connecticut. I've been telling guys for years on the selection committee, like, let's go north a little bit. But now we're getting Alabama offers north of the GW Bridge. We're getting Michigan offers a ton now. It's certainly helping the Coach Browns out there on the staff, who's got a lot of ties into the relationships to coaches here in the greater New England area. But, I think when it comes to the linemen, there's some great linemen coming out of Massachusetts that I'm tracking that are starting to get some Division I offers. So, yeah, I think it's, overall positions are kids are getting more exposure now. So whether it's a quarterback, skill or lineman, the kids are getting noticed.
Coach, Frank and I were talking before you came on about what, as high school coaches, we're looking at. We're looking for the kids to work. We're looking to improve. As a talent evaluator, what are you looking at in one of these passing league 7-on-7 type tournaments?
Well, the first thing is the eye test. Does the kid kind of fit that traditional eye test of an athlete? Is he the right size, speed? Does he have the right, weight, that type of thing? But then you get a couple kids that just bypass that, and they sneak up on you like, oh my God, that kid's a great, phenomenal athlete. So you look at that, and then I look at overall skill set. Are they really dominating? Are they, dominating on the field? Are they making big plays? At the various different positions, obviously you can get very technical, what each position you would look to evaluate. But first of all, it's the eye test, and then, who's overall dominating? Are they flying around here? Are they completing passes and making plays? What's the overall team speed? Things like that. And then, obviously, it's tough to tell here at this event because there's no pass. It's just, it's 7-on-7, but it gives you a good indicator, okay, where this kid's got the potential. I'm going to put him on my watch list. I'm going to go track him throughout the year on his huddle film. I'm going to keep track of him, the competition he plays, and then obviously where at showcase events he goes to throughout the year. But it's certainly a great way for a kid to step up and stand out amongst others.
Well, Joe, we want to thank you for coming on with us again. This is Joe Buard from Football University. As we can see behind us, the teams have emerged. They're starting to stretch and warm up. We'll take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll be joined by some of the players and coaches from our FCAC teams, and we'll have some footage and the rules of the 7-on-7 tournament here at New Canaan High School on the HAN Network and Nutmeg Sports.
I really wanted something that felt like a home. Coming from a big house, I wanted the feel of a home as opposed to a condo. New Canaan is 6 minutes down the road. New Canaan's a beautiful little town to walk around. I work in Westport. My commute is 20 minutes. It's close to Westchester where my family is, so the location is ideal. There is no other townhome that compares in the area. This is where I want to be.
Keep your future star active and happy this summer at Future Stars Sports Academy camps and clinics. The Academy is offering sessions throughout Fairfield County. Sign up for a week of basketball, cheerleading, football, or a multi-sports camp. At Future Stars Academy, children learn the fundamentals while under the supervision of qualified coaches. And what sets the Academy apart is its special Lessons of Life sessions, teaching values and focusing on building self-esteem, friendships, and honesty. Located at Sports Center Connecticut in Shelton and in Sports in Trumbull. Register online at FutureStarsSportsAcademy.com.
Mosquitoes, ticks, gone. Guaranteed. That's what Mosquito Squad guarantees as America's most trusted mosquito and tick control company. Locally owned and operated, over 90,000 homes have been protected by Mosquito Squad using their dual protection method for season-long protection, which includes barrier spray service for eliminating mosquitoes and adult ticks, as well as supplemental programs to increase tick control. They use only USDA organic options, which are safe and non-toxic. Contact them today at www.squadctny.com or 203-893-4309. Mosquito Squad. No bugs, no bites, no kidding.
I'm Denise DiGregoli, the host of The Drive on the HAN Network. Join me Tuesdays for some motivational, intelligent talk with a little humor as we visit with people who live their lives mindfully. Tune in to The Drive live on Tuesdays, 12:30, here on the HAN Network.
I'm Kate Chaplinsky. Join us for Coffee Break, weekdays at 11 to get the latest Connecticut news, weather, high school sports, and more. News doesn't get any more local than on Coffee Break on the HAN Network.
And welcome back to a special edition of Nutmeg Sports here on the HAN Network. Coming to you live from the campus of New Canaan High School, Frank Granito and John Kovach with you, bringing you coverage of this year's 9th annual National Select 7-on-7 Grip It and Rip It passing tournament.
I'm blown away after having Joe Buard on, all the talent that's here. I mean, I knew this was going to be a great tournament. After talking to Joe and the national spotlight talent that is going to take 4 fields surrounding us the next 2 days, I'm just awed by what we're going to get a chance to see.
And it really is incredible to see how far Connecticut football has come and where it stands on the national level. Such a credit to the success of all these programs, the effort put in by both the coaches and the players alike. But you're right. I knew there were some big names here, but the list he gave us was just unbelievable to hear.
It really was. And that news about the commitment to Notre Dame.
Yes, and congrats to Rhodes. That's an unbelievable, CJ Holmes.
Holmes.
An unbelievable accomplishment, and we wish him all the luck in the world. So, John, as we get ready now, we can still see teams warming up a little bit. We'll have 2 games being played on each of the 4 fields throughout the day. The games are set to start at 2:30, and then you'll follow with a second game at 3 o'clock. Let's take a look now, and we'll start with who'll be playing behind us on Dunning Field. There'll be 8 teams. It will be Choate, Darien, Guilford Land, Harrison, Manchester, New Canaan, New Milford, and Spring Valley wrap up the group on Dunning Field today.
Guilderland, one of those schools from up outside Albany that made that long trip down because they found out about the level of competition here.
And they'll be very competitive in this. Darien obviously made it to the semifinals last year. They fell to Southington, who lost to eventual champion Grand Rapids, who had won the last 2 years but are not back this year. So really an open door as we take a look now who's up on the Water Tower turf.
Bullard Havens, always a power in the Constitution State Conference, that one of the tech school leagues. Hall, Norwalk out of the FCAC, St. Joseph Trumbull out of the FCAC, St. Luke's making the short ride down the hill here to New Canaan High School, to Josh Fisher's delight. Stamford out of the FCAC. They are exciting. They are a run-and-gun team. Stepinac out of New York City. And from the Southwest Conference, just up the Merritt Parkway, Weston.
And Stepinac will be very, very competitive. They come back in the later in the summer, too, and do a team camp with some of the FCAC teams. We've seen how good they can be. St. Luke's is very competitive in these types of situations. They kind of get overshadowed, though, by the success of the New Canaan team here.
I think that, and I think the FAA, the Fairchester Athletic Association that they're in, I don't know that that's known as a football conference. That they're in the backyard of the FCAC. They're a block away from the Southern Connecticut Conference, the SCC. So they can be great. Brunswick, who we're going to see here, great, but they're going to be overshadowed by the SCC and the FCAC in most discussions.
So that group playing up on the Water Tower grass. We take a look now at the Water Tower turf. Cardinal Hayes out of the Bronx has made the trip up. Cheshire Academy, who we heard about their big guns just a moment ago, Joe Buard. Daniel Hand, a Class M team. New Canaan thinks they'll see at the end of the year. Fairfield Prep, who we're very excited to see today. Greenwich, of course, from the FCAC, New Fairfield, Scarsdale, and that Windsor team that New Canaan had some trouble with back in the state playoffs last year.
I'd be very curious to see the 2 SCC teams in that group, Hand and Prep.
That's a very exciting group there. That's going to be a tough one to come out of and position yourself into the losers bracket for tomorrow.
I was going to say, they talk in world class level soccer tournaments about the group of death. You might argue that is the group of death.
That will be a tough one. And then we make our way over to our track field, splitting just over to the right side of the rest of the grass. Heading over there, we'll have Brunswick and Harding, 2 schools that we know very well. Massac makes their way down. Then arguably the most exciting team in the tournament, the Nouvelles, all the way down from Quebec, Canada, as they return for a 3rd straight year. You have Shenandoah from upstate New York. You spoke with their coaches. They're excited again. Sleepy Hollow, who as Josh Fisher put it, arguably the best mascot
Oh, no question.
in high school football right now.
The Headless Horseman.
South Windsor, and finally wrapping out is Trinity Catholic out of the FCAC. That's another group that's got some very interesting competition in it.
Very interesting. The Canadians do not get an extra guy, and there are limits on motion, I think.
It'll be exciting to see. We'll go over the rules a little bit later on as we see play is just about to start. We'll step aside quickly, but when we come back, we'll be joined by 3 of the Greenwich Cardinals football team here on Nutmeg Sports on the HAN Network.
Have a sports injury or a slip and fall that needs immediate care? Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care gives you direct access to an orthopedic specialist fast, without an appointment. Biking, golf, tennis, soccer, whatever the sports injury is, sprain or fracture, Coastal Ortho Express can help. Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care, open Monday through Saturday, now in 2 locations. The iPark building at 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk and 36 Old Kings Highway South in Darien. Or go to coastalorthoexpress.com, like them on Facebook.
Warm weather, light breezes, boats are in the water. There's no better place to celebrate summer than the Dock Shop. Whether in Darien at 51 Tokenique Road or Westport at 609 Riverside Avenue, the Dock Shop is where you'll find everything you need to kick off summer. From the latest summer apparel to the newest fishing tackle, the Dock Shop will help you get the most out of your next beach day or harbor cruise. At the Dock Shop, you'll find a wonderful selection of items made in the USA and right here in New England, all with a distinct nautical flair. Boater, beach bum, fisherman, or simply love the coastal lifestyle, this is a unique place to shop. DockShop.com.
For more than 50 years, Triple S has been Fairfield County's expert service for carpet, upholstery, and drapery cleaning. We provide the best in repairs and in-depth restoration, understanding fabrics and how to properly clean and restore them. Our staff will come to your home to clean your wall-to-wall carpet to perfection. We can also pick up your fine carpets and bring them to our facilities. With locations in Norwalk, Stamford, and Stratford, Triple S will get the job done fast, big or small. At Triple S, you can count on our people as well as our cleaning. Find us at triplesclean.com or 203-847-8000.
I'm John Kovach. I'm a newspaper editor. I'm a high school football coach. I'm a television presenter. And I want you to love fishing as much as I do. Tune in to Yankee Fisherman, Thursdays at 1 on the HAN Network. It's like going to the tackle shop without leaving your office.
You're watching the HAN Network, and you're not alone. Nearly 1 million people have watched our live sports, news, and entertainment programming since the network launched in August 2015. Advertise on the network that reaches Fairfield County, Connecticut's most engaged audience. Contact Advertising Director Jessica Murrin at 203-273-7312 or email jessica@han.network.
And welcome back to Nutmeg Sports here on the HAN Network, a special edition from the 7-on-7 tournament at New Canaan High School. I have the pleasure of being joined now by the captains of the Greenwich Cardinals, and we'll let them introduce themselves here.
Tyler Ferris.
Ben Kraninger.
Mike Cece.
Guys, thanks for taking time and joining us. Let's first talk about how excited you are to be at this tournament. What does it mean for the Greenwich Cardinals team?
It means a lot to us to be invited to this tournament again. It's very competitive, about 32 teams here. So we're definitely trying to compete with everyone here at the top.
Yeah, we're just trying to compete and get better. We're taking it as another opportunity in the offseason to get better in the secondary, the quarterbacks, receivers. So it should be a fun weekend.
Yeah, it's just a good opportunity for us to play. I mean, the best competition around here, so definitely fun to be here.
Definitely a lot of familiar faces as you see some FCAC teams. It's a passing tournament, and we know your coach, your new coach, well, I guess he's been there now, Johnny Marinelli, brings a special passing offense with him, but he also brings a special color with him. I got to ask you guys, how do you feel about the neon? Because you're rocking a lot of it.
Oh, I love neon. So I was part of making this jersey, so we definitely wanted to do something new. We never really did this before with our old jerseys, our old 7 jerseys with our old coach, but we're doing something new.
Yeah, it's different. It's fun. It brings a little bit of a spark, we think.
Yeah, it's just we're all about being bold at Greenwich, and this definitely explains who we are.
And you talk about doing something new, a little bit of an underachieving season in Coach Marinelli's first year. This is a new team. What are the expectations and goal for you guys?
We're just trying to work hard, trying to compete with every team in the FCAC, the state even. I think we're gonna be working hard to get to the top.
Yeah, let's be working hard all off season. season's a little while away, so we'll see when it comes.
Yeah, the FCX obviously strong this year with everybody returning guys like New Canaan, Trumbull, Ridgefield, Darien, obviously. And yeah, we're just trying to do our part and get some wins and work hard and get better.
A couple of those FCX teams are here today. Is there one in particular you think you'd like to see tomorrow in the playoff bracket?
Darien and New Canaan.
Yeah, Darien, New Canaan.
Definitely Darien.
Well, thanks a lot, guys, for taking time with us. We'll let you go get ready for your first game. Once again, these are the captains from the Greenwich Cardinals here on Nutmeg Sports on the HAN Network. We'll step aside, but when we come back, John Kovach and I will have the rules and live coverage of this year's tournament.
I really wanted something that felt like a home. Coming from a big house, I wanted the feel of a home as opposed to a condo. New Canaan is 6 minutes down the road. New Canaan's a beautiful little town to walk around. I work in Westport. My commute is 20 minutes. It's close to Westchester where my family is, so the location is ideal. There is no other townhome that compares in the area. This is where I want to be.
Keep your future star active and happy this summer at Future Stars Sports Academy camps and clinics. The Academy is offering sessions throughout Fairfield County. Sign up for a week of basketball, cheerleading, football, or a multi-sports camp. At Future Stars Academy, children learn the fundamentals while under the supervision of qualified coaches. And what sets the Academy apart is its special Lessons of Life sessions, teaching values and focusing on building self-esteem, friendships, and honesty. Located at Sports Center Connecticut in Shelton and in Sports in Trumbull. Register online at FutureStarsSportsAcademy.com.
Mosquitoes, ticks, gone. Guaranteed. That's what Mosquito Squad guarantees as America's most trusted mosquito and tick control company. Locally owned and operated, over 90,000 homes have been protected by Mosquito Squad using their dual protection method for season-long protection, which includes barrier spray service for eliminating mosquitoes and adult ticks, as well as supplemental programs to increase tick control. They use only USDA organic options, which are safe and non-toxic. Contact them today at www.squadctny.com or 203-893-4309. Mosquito Squad. No bugs, no bites, no kidding.
I'm Denise DiGregoli, the host of The Drive on the HAN Network. Join me Tuesdays for some motivational, intelligent talk with a little humor as we visit with people who live their lives mindfully. Tune in to The Drive live on Tuesdays, 12:30, here on the HAN Network.
I'm Kate Chaplinsky. Join us for Coffee Break, weekdays at 11 to get the latest Connecticut news, weather, high school sports, and more. News doesn't get any more local than on Coffee Break on the HAN Network.
And welcome back to Nutmeg Sports here on the HAN Network. Are you done? You good?
No, not even close.
Frank Granito and John Kovach, who is loving football in July. John, games have started on all four fields now. We're getting to see New Canaan playing the New Vels behind us, and what a spectacle it is right now.
You're seeing a lot of spread here, obviously. No linemen, no pads, so you're not going to hear the thuds. Oh, there's a bomb. Incomplete. Try to high point that.
And a lot of these first games, from what we can see, teams feeling each other out, a little bit of a defensive struggle. As when we get later into the day, we expect to see some high-scoring affairs. This is a good opportunity, though, for us to take a time and go over the rules a little bit for the fans at home.
Right, and it's 7-on-7. There are no linemen. There are no pads. They are wearing helmets. That's a little unique to this one. A lot of your passing leagues, 7-on-7 camps, you don't wear helmets. Here you do. I understand why you would, why you wouldn't. I don't know that I have a firm opinion either way. You?
And I was going to say, how do you feel about it? After seeing the tournament last year, it makes sense to me, and I think I'm okay with it. The biggest issue you face now is someone taking a face mask to the shoulder versus two kids cracking skulls.
Correct. I mean, I'll spell out two stories. One of these from the head coach where I am now, Vinny Camara, who I've worked with for some time. And when he was starting at Platt Tech, they were playing on the road, and he watched two starters for the host team without helmets during warm-ups collide, trying to field a punt, hit their heads together, bang, they both went to the hospital, one with a concussion, one needing stitches. His opponent loses two starters. But then, like you said, the concern here is a helmet to an unpadded collarbone. to an unpadded wrist.
And you talk about concussions, which obviously we talked about it in Nutmeg earlier this week. And actually on our Monday edition of Nutmeg, we will be joined by the former Massac and University of Connecticut quarterback Casey Cochran, who just put a story out on the Players Tribune, Derek Jeter's website, 13 concussions. We look forward to having him on the show next week. So the helmet issue, especially in today's world, it seems like it makes sense as we can see the games continuing to go on here. But let's look a little more into the rules now.
Well, what you'll have is you will have 2 games on each 100-yard field here. Teams are going from the 40 in both directions. The offense will start with the ball on the 40. They have 4 downs to advance to the 20. Should they succeed in that, then they have 4 downs to score. They either score or a defensive stop, and we'll get to that because the defense in 7-on-7 can put points on the board.
And that makes this tournament very interesting to compare to some others, because should you be trying to score late in the game only up by 1 or 2 and you throw an interception, well, then it's 2 points for the other team.
Exactly. Even turning the ball over on downs is going to cost you points. And we will get to that. 22-minute running clock on each game. It will stop for an injury. We're hoping we don't see that, obviously.
No, and the big thing, too, it's 40 yards. You have your first downs at the 20, score at the goal line. Let's get into the scoring a little bit. It's traditional scoring for a passing touchdown. It will be worth 6 points. We talked about defense a little bit, but the interesting thing is you can go for 1 or 2 from the 5 or the 10-yard line.
Correct. Should you choose to pass the ball in from the 5-yard line, that's 1 point. Should you back it up 5 yards and try to go from the 2, you'll get 2. The defensive scoring, 3 points, unless it's a conversion attempt, an interception, 3 points. 2 points should you get them 4 and out.
And again, play continues here. We're live from New Canaan High School at the 9th annual Grip It and Rip It passing tournament. Granito, John Kovach. As play continues, we see what's going on here. It's a nice little hitch route thrown down low here.
You'll see a lot of those. By the way, the running back can release out of the backfield. He cannot go 10 yards. What are your thoughts on running those backfield routes in 7-on-7? Because there's times that just drives me nuts.
I always taught it if I was running a 7-on-7, whether it was in practice or any kind of a tournament, I taught it that you have to release outside the tackle box to run a full route. So you'd start in your normal stance, but you've got to widen out to where the assumed line would be before releasing. That's obviously tough to do on officials without an actual line.
Now, the quarterbacks are facing low live pressure in the terms of a rush. However, there is the pressure of the clock. From the snap, they have exactly 4 seconds to get the ball off. They exceed 4 seconds, it's a sack.
Any sack is a loss of down. The other issue teams face will be the penalties. For the offense, any penalty, you're going to back it up to the spot and lose a down. Any kind of unsportsmanlike penalty, you'll immediately go back to the 40-yard line. The defense, it's either a 5-yard or a 10-yard penalty from the previous line of scrimmage based on what is called.
And there are heavy unsportsmanlike conduct penalties, and they're really emphasizing in the rules, and I liked seeing this. It's one-hand touch. It's not tackle. It's not two-hand touch. It's not flag. It's one-hand touch. They stipulate it is not a shove. It is not a push. It is a touch.
And the refs and the field managers, as we have many of the staff members from both New Canaan High School and Greenwich High School, and they do a tremendous job, which we haven't mentioned yet. They will really keep a tight leash on all the players. The referees have been told any issue with someone, you pull them out for a play, let them cool off, and then send them back in. Second time, you're done for the day.
It's kind of like it should be in the actual game. If you see somebody get a little hot, you pull them, let it go, get back in there. Also, no fumbles. Ball hits the ground, it's dead where it hits the ground.
I think that's all the rules that we've got covered right there.
I hope so.
We'll have more on the rules again, and we'll get into full detail on that with our live coverage tomorrow of both the semifinals and the championship game starting at 1 o'clock here on the HAN Network. For now, we're going to take one more quick break, and when we come back, we'll be joined by a couple members of the defending FCIAC and state champion Darien Blue Wave. You're watching Nutmeg Sports from New Canaan High School here on the HAN Network.
Have a sports injury or a slip and fall that needs immediate care? Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care gives you direct access to an orthopedic specialist fast, without an appointment. Biking, golf, tennis, soccer, whatever the sports injury is, sprain or fracture, Coastal Ortho Express can help. Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care, open Monday through Saturday, now in 2 locations. The iPark building at 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk and 36 Old Kings Highway South in Darien. Or go to coastalorthoexpress.com, like them on Facebook.
Warm weather, light breezes, boats are in the water. There's no better place to celebrate summer than the Dock Shop. Whether in Darien at 51 Tokenique Road or Westport at 609 Riverside Avenue, the Dock Shop is where you'll find everything you need to kick off summer. From the latest summer apparel to the newest fishing tackle, the Dock Shop will help you get the most out of your next beach day or harbor cruise. At the Dock Shop, you'll find a wonderful selection of items made in the USA and right here in New England, all with a distinct nautical flair. Boater, beach bum, fisherman, or simply love the coastal lifestyle, this is a unique place to shop. DockShop.com.
For more than 50 years, Triple S has been Fairfield County's expert service for carpet, upholstery, and drapery cleaning. We provide the best in repairs and in-depth restoration, understanding fabrics and how to properly clean and restore them. Our staff will come to your home to clean your wall-to-wall carpet to perfection. We can also pick up your fine carpets and bring them to our facilities. With locations in Norwalk, Stamford, and Stratford, Triple S will get the job done fast, big or small. At Triple S, you can count on our people as well as our cleaning. Find us at triplesclean.com or 203-847-8000.
I'm John Kovach. I'm a newspaper editor. I'm a high school football coach. I'm a television presenter. And I want you to love fishing as much as I do. Tune in to Yankee Fisherman, Thursdays at 1 on the HAN network. It's like going to the tackle shop without leaving your office.
You're watching the HAN network, and you're not alone. Nearly 1 million people have watched our live sports, news, and entertainment programming since the network launched in August 2015. Advertise on the network that reaches Fairfield County, Connecticut's most engaged audience. Contact Advertising Director Jessica Murrin at 203-273-7312 or email jessica@han.network.
Welcome back to Nutmeg Sports, live from New Canaan High School on the campus, where we are watching the 9th annual National Select 7-on-7 Grip It and Rip It passing tournament. I'm Frank Granito, and joining me right now, a couple members of the defending FCIAC and state champion Darien Blue Wave. I'll let them introduce themselves.
Finley Collins.
Brian Peters.
First of all, let's congratulate you guys again on all the success of last year. And now let's forget about it because you're a new class. Yeah. Let's congratulate you on winning the Fordham 7-on-7 tournament last weekend. How'd you guys have success down there?
Obviously we don't return a lot of seniors, but we have a lot of young guys who are very talented, who are filling in nicely, and they did a nice job last weekend taking care of business. And basically, I would say that we're not more athletic than any other team that we play, but our schemes and our coaching really benefits us, and we're able to pick apart defenses and as well as lock down other teams on offense. So basically it really just comes down to our schemes and how we kind of have perfected what we do.
And Brian, you have the tough role of filling the shoes of Timmy Graham. You had tremendous numbers last weekend, great completion percentage, high touchdown to interception ratio. What do you bring to this offense now as the starting quarterback?
I think it brings some leadership to the team. It's very hard filling in for Timmy after what he accomplished last year, but the work that myself and my teammates put in the off season, I think I can try to fill his shoes a little bit, if anything. I think I'll do. I'll be all right.
Finley, you played a little bit on the defensive side last year. You guys lose a lot over there, especially in the secondary. How are you going to be able to rebuild that unit?
We got a lot of great athletes who are in the grade below me, and they, although they might not have the most experience at the varsity level, they are extremely talented. They've been doing a great job locking down opposing offenses, and I think they'll do the same during the season. So.
And Brian, you've got to feel pretty confident knowing that you've got Andrew Stuber protecting your left side. What can you say about him and what he's going to mean to this team this year?
He's a monster. He's going to Michigan. He's everything, and our whole line's returning as well. So I think he'll be able to protect me and the rest of our offense pretty well. Yeah.
You guys come in as the undisputed #1 team in the state. There's going to be a pretty big target on your back. What are you going to have to do to have success this year?
I think we're just going to have to continue to work hard and get in the weight room and make sure we're on top of our conditioning, and because that's really been a staple of our game the past couple of years, is just how hard we work. And I think although, obviously the senior class that just graduated was extremely, accomplished in what they were able to do, I think that we're going to be able to repeat just because of the type of players we have in this program and how hard we work outside of the season.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Well, you got about 10 minutes left, so we'll let you guys get down there, get ready for your first game. We thank you for joining us, though. Darien getting ready to take the field. We'll have more guests joining us here on Nutmeg Sports. We take a quick break here on the HAN Network. We'll be right back after this.
I really wanted something that felt like a home. Coming from a big house, I wanted the feel of a home as opposed to a condo. New Canaan is 6 minutes down the road. New Canaan's a beautiful little town to walk around. I work in Westport. My commute is 20 minutes. It's close to Westchester, where my family is, so the location is ideal. There is no other townhome that compares in the area. This is where I want to be.
Keep your future star active and happy this summer at Future Stars Sports Academy camps and clinics. The Academy is offering sessions throughout Fairfield County. Sign up for a week of basketball, cheerleading, football, or a multi-sports camp. At Future Stars Academy, children learn the fundamentals while under the supervision of qualified coaches. And what sets the Academy apart is its special Lessons of Life sessions, teaching values and focusing on building self-esteem, friendships, and honesty. Located at Sports Center, Connecticut in Shelton and in Sports in Trumbull. Register online at FutureStarsSportsAcademy.com.
Mosquitoes, ticks, gone. Guaranteed. That's what Mosquito Squad guarantees as America's most trusted mosquito and tick control company. Locally owned and operated, over 90,000 homes have been protected by Mosquito Squad using their dual protection method for season-long protection, which includes barrier spray service for eliminating mosquitoes and adult ticks, as well as supplemental programs to increase tick control. They use only USDA organic options, which are safe and non-toxic. Contact them today at www.squadctny.com or 203-893-4309. Mosquito Squad. No bugs, no bites, no kidding.
I'm Denise DiGregoli, the host of The Drive on the HAN Network. Join me Tuesdays for some motivational, intelligent talk with a little humor as we visit with people who live their lives mindfully. Tune in to The Drive live on Tuesdays, 12:30, here on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Chaplinsky. Join us for Coffee Break, weekdays at 11 to get the latest Connecticut news, weather, high school sports, and more. News doesn't get any more local than on Coffee Break on the HAN Network.
And welcome back to Nutmeg Sports here on the HAN Network. Frank Granito, John Kovach, and we are joined by a special guest, Dave Stewart. Dave, thanks for taking time and coming up with us.
No problem. It's a great day. Great day for this.
So we were just talking, and I mentioned it before. One of the cooler things we're seeing right now, a lot of graduated seniors from both New Canaan and Greenwich are helping out, both refereeing, sack counters, but I can even notice Mike Collins in a neon shirt down there calling the New Canaan offense.
And so I think that's one of the great things about this event is that you do have a lot of the older kids getting involved and getting involved with the younger guys coming up and maybe taking their jobs over at this point. And I saw Cass Knox is out there again. Of course, he had a lot of experience as a coach last year. So I think that's one of the really cool things about this.
And the big issue is, of course, for CIAC teams, they are not allowed to have their coaches participating in off-season camps such as this. So you've got alumni coming back and helping out. Dave, we've got you here now, and we can just see the first New Canaan game ended. We'll hopefully get a result on that in the near future. But let's talk about the biggest storyline of the offseason, the quarterback situation.
Yeah, they've got a few people out there. I saw Spencer Williams out there and James Cravato, of course. James Cravato was in there for a few more series than Williams. Both looked okay. Nothing spectacular yet. Didn't get to see the big question mark is Drew Pine, of course, coming in as a freshman this year, and everybody wants to see how he does. And we're going to get a chance to see him today at some point. But I've heard great things about him. He's got a great arm, and just to see if he can make that transition to varsity.
What other FCAC-related storylines are you watching as sports editor of the New Canaan Advertiser and a webmaster for FCAC.net?
Well, I think the big question mark right now is Darien, of course. The defending FCAC champions graduated an awful lot last year. They've got a lot coming up through the pipeline too, and Stewart just committed, I believe, to Michigan, and will be, they've got a couple of big guys back, but they have a lot of big shoes to fill. I mean, you've got Graham at quarterback, you've got Grant as a running back, Minikis is gone, Hamill's gone, guys like Rock Stewart who were kind of unsung heroes for that team. So they're going to have a lot of people to replace, and that's going to be the big thing. I think they'll do it fine, but it's just going to be who steps up and takes over for those guys.
And I think it's going to be a much more balanced FCAC this year. Greenwich should rebound. That's a team that is in year 2 of that system now, and I think you've got a full class that's invested. Trinity gets a couple transfers in. They should be good. Trumbull, Ridgefield, St. Joe's. I don't think we'll see a 2-horse race per se this season.
Yeah, I really hope not. I mean, last year, as great as it was for New Canaan and Darien, to see them going head to head in that one game, it was just week after week. It was kind of blowouts, and that's not really that much fun for anybody. I guess if you're winning, it's a good thing. But it'll be nice to see a more even balanced schedule or season. And I've seen Greenwich, of course. Big program. Johnny's second year in there. It'll be great to see how he does. I always feel like it's the third year that a coach is there when things start to take shape for him. But second year I saw he had 109 players playing the spring game this year and 200 players in the program. I mean, there's a lot to work with there, and hear good things about a lot of different people on that team.
Speaking of growing programs, you've been around this grip it and rip it since it was 4 teams 9 years ago. How, from looking from the outside in, how have you seen this growth?
Well, I think the big thing for it is the quality of the competition here. It started with 4 teams, all FCAC teams, kind of expanded within the FCAC. Lou did a great job getting it off the ground. Lou Marinelli did a great job getting it off the ground. And then what started to happen was people were looking with running the spread offense, passing more. They're looking for these 7-on-7 games to test their skill players. And, they started gravitating towards this, and you're starting to get you're getting better competition, so people know about it now, and people are coming from all over. We've got a team from Canada here, just a lot of teams from out of state. So it's a great competition. I think that's what draws everybody to it.
It is, and we are live here on Nutmeg Sports on the HAN Network. If you're just joining us as we come to you from New Canaan High School for the 7-on-7 passing tournament, we can see behind us that Guilderland and Spring Valley have started on field number 2, and over to our left, the defending FCAC state champions, Darien, has started their game against, that was Harrison, that's right. Too many of these New York teams. But as we see more and more FCAC teams roll in now, we'll get a switch. Hopefully some more kids join us. I wanted to ask about, and it's a Trumbull team I think that could be really good this year. They lose their line, but I think the Trumbull running back and that skill group could cause a lot of damage in the FCAC.
Trumbull's always one of those teams where they seem to go a few years without a good team, and then all of a sudden they jump up and they do really well. So it'll be interesting to see. I think for teams like Trumbull, Ridgefield, it's how you come out of the gate. If you're able to win a couple early on, the kids start believing in it, and they start, once you start winning, you get a little more motivated, obviously, and the morale is good. That doesn't always work. We saw with Stanford last year. They went 3-1 in their first 4 games and then didn't win a game the rest of the year. But that's a big thing, to come out of the gate strong if you're not one of those programs that has been winning recently.
And that's a game we'll probably see on the HAN Network. Week 1 is Trumbull and Ridgefield on Friday night down in Tiger Hollow. That'll be a really good one.
That's going to be a great game. I'm looking forward to that one. Dave, as a veteran sports editor, Frank and I have discussed what as high school coaches we look for in a 7-on-7. Joe Buard of Football University explained to us what he's looking for in terms of talent evaluation, etc. As a sports editor, what's your takeaway on this weekend of 7-on-7 football?
Well, I think the big thing for the kids is just running their routes. Wide receivers running their routes. Getting familiar with other players and seeing who's going to step up and take over different positions. And if you're a veteran, you're just getting into the swing of things again and trying to get involved and just getting used to a new crop of people. And I think that's the big thing.
And I can see that we have got another guest being lined up right now. We'll take a quick break here on the HA Network. We'll be right back with Nutmeg Sports right after this.
Have a sports injury or a slip and fall that needs immediate care? Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care gives you direct access to an orthopedic specialist fast, without an appointment. Biking, golf, tennis, soccer, whatever the sports injury is, sprain or fracture, Coastal Ortho Express can help. Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care, open Monday through Saturday, now in 2 locations. The iPark building at 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk and 36 Old Kings Highway South in Darien. Or go to coastalorthoexpress.com, like them on Facebook.
Warm weather, light breezes, boats are in the water. There's no better place to celebrate summer than the Dock Shop. Whether in Darien at 51 Tokenique Road or Westport at 609 Riverside Avenue, the Dock Shop is where you'll find everything you need to kick off summer. From the latest summer apparel to the newest fishing tackle, the Dock Shop will help you get the most out of your next beach day or harbor cruise. At the Dock Shop, you'll find a wonderful selection of items made in the USA and right here in New England, all with a distinct nautical flair. Boater, beach bum, fisherman, or simply love the coastal lifestyle, this is a unique place to shop. DockShop.com.
For more than 50 years, Triple S has been Fairfield County's expert service for carpet, upholstery, and drapery cleaning. We provide the best in repairs and in-depth restoration, understanding fabrics and how to properly clean and restore them. Our staff will come to your home to clean your wall-to-wall carpet to perfection. We can also pick up your fine carpets and bring them to our facilities. With locations in Norwalk, Stamford, and Stratford, Triple S will get the job done fast, big or small. At Triple S, you can count on our people as well as our cleaning. Find us at triplesclean.com or 203-847-8000.
I'm John Kovach. I'm a newspaper editor. I'm a high school football coach. I'm a television presenter. And I want you to love fishing as much as I do. Tune in to Yankee Fisherman, Thursdays at 1 on the HAN network. It's like going to the tackle shop without leaving your office.
You're watching the HAN network, and you're not alone. Nearly 1 million people have watched our live sports, news, and entertainment programming since the network launched in August 2015. Advertise on the network that reaches Fairfield County, Connecticut's most engaged audience. Contact Advertising Director Jessica Murrin at 203-273-7312 or email jessica@han.network.
And welcome back to Nutmeg Sports here on the HAN Network. We are coming to you live from the campus of New Canaan High School with the man who needs no introduction. Coach, first of all, congratulations on the Class M state championships last year and your 300th state victory.
Thank you very much. I believe you were a member of that staff, and you played a lot, an important part of all of those wins, right? How many of you do you have of those wins? As a player, as a coach?
Somewhere around 40-ish, but...
See that? And you steal them from me. So
we sure we want him on?
No, never. Absolutely never.
But Coach, you really were the founder of this tournament back in 2008, the first year. What started with 4 teams. Right. With the help of Johnny and Chris Silvestri, you guys have now expanded to 32. How has all of this been possible?
Well, mainly because of Johnny and Chris Silvestri. I mean, they've done all the lion's share of the work. And if you look around here, if you drive into the campus now and you see all these kids playing, and I mean, this is great. This is exactly what you want to have happen. And we'd even like to expand it further if we could.
It really is an unbelievable spectacle, and just the opportunity for all these kids to get together and continue playing in the summer with so much else going on.
It's been great. It's wonderful, and to see all these guys, and it's Chris Silvestri said it in our meeting with the coaches. You know, it's almost like a reunion we have every year because we have so many repeat guys. We have a few new guys, but we have teams from Canada coming down, upstate New York, different parts of Massachusetts, and so it's great. It's great. It's a lot of fun.
Coach, you have more teams sign up for this than you can fit usually?
Yeah, well, we had to cut it down, unfortunately. Hopefully when we get the new fields in and stuff, we can really expand it. And then if the fields committee would acquiesce a little bit and give us sacks, I mean, we could really do a good job out of it.
You could get another 3-4 games over there.
Oh, absolutely. So, we'd like to expand it. We'd like to be the tournament in the East Coast, and that's what we're trying to do. So, and I think people that come enjoy it, and that's why they come back.
What are you most interested in seeing over the next 2 days?
Well, as you know, you may have heard, we have some kind of a quarterback controversy going on. So, we're trying to see the quarterbacks throw. We're trying to see our receivers catch. and we're trying to get a feel of really what we have. And it's, you know, it's all a process that we're going through to see what kind of team we're going to have.
What do you pick up from the other FCAC schools as you watch their offenses or their schemes? What are you picking up from that? Is there anything you can take from this that you can build off of for the fall?
Well, yeah, I think not just FCAC teams, but any teams. You look Shenandoah and you look at the team from Canada, even though they're playing with one less guy than they normally do. I mean, there's a lot of different concepts and things. So when you look at it, you know, you always pick up little things and how guys are devising their concepts and how they're defending things. So, I mean, I'm a football junkie, so I'll show up and I'll just watch and see how guys are doing it.
And none of us football coaches steal ideas that we see other guys do in tournaments like this.
Everything I've ever done is stolen. So I don't think I've had an original thought. So, you know, we've been, and that's the thing. It's, you know, it's getting close to football season. People are getting excited. So it's a great tune-up.
There's always a wrinkle that you can see in how somebody else does something. Their alignment, their drop, their rolls, a route combination. There's always something that you can take and you can think about, you know what, we could implement
tweak
that.
it and try to implement it, sure. And then, but you got to stick with your system, because otherwise you become a team of running all the best things that, you know, everybody does, but you don't really have a system. So you have to be careful.
No,
too.
you cannot be a grab bag.
Right.
You were talking about the quarterbacks you have and how you've got big shoes to fill in Michael Collins. Right. Tell me a little bit about each one of those players that you've got out there today. Who do you have out?
Well, you know, we have our two seniors, Spencer Williams, our lefty quarterback, who has looked good, although he didn't look so good in the first game, but I'm sure he was just warming up.
He has time.
James Cravato, who's been playing lacrosse all season, hasn't had a chance, although he did look good at times up at Yale. And then, you know, we have David Fishman, who's coming up as a junior quarterback. We have Logan Otis, who hasn't played a lot of quarterback, but was the quarterback for the sophomores last year. We also have two sophomores, and then, of course, we have Drew Pine that's transferred in as a ninth grader next year.
What do you tell the kids when they're trying to replace a guy that's as good as Michael Collins was?
I tell them I don't think anybody can replace Michael Collins. I mean, he was tremendous. He worked very hard. It was 2.5 years of really hard work. So I don't know that you can. He's one of the best that I've had. Just a tremendous kid, tremendous student, great role model. So I don't know that, you know, I want that kind of a kid as our quarterback. But it's no two kids are alike, so they've got to be themselves as well.
Good to see him out there too,
Oh, yeah.
coaching. You know?
Yeah, it's great. Well, if you look, there's a lot of former players that we've had that are back coaching, and which to me is the greatest thing, to see kids that went on to play in college, and even if they didn't, just the fact that they come back.
That's what I've coached for nowhere near as long as you. But when those kids come back,
old, John?
no, I'm trying to say I'm not as old as you. But when those kids come back, I consider that a success. Then I've reached that kid.
Absolutely. And then, you know, we have our golf outing in a few weeks, and those guys from the early '80s come back, and from thereafter, and you get a chance to visit with them and see how successful they are, and now they want to give back. Because I've been here as long as I've been here, I get a chance to see the fruits that you know, were sown years and years ago, and it's really a tremendous thing. I wish everybody could see what I can see, and not that certainly their New Canaan High School football experience isn't responsible for it, but it played a small part. I'd like to believe it played a small part in helping those kids get through that crazy high school time.
I can tell you firsthand that it did. Coach,
thank you. You verify my my statements. I appreciate it.
We want to thank you for coming up with us, Coach. We really appreciate it. Congratulations on the success of the tournament again. We wish you luck on the coming season. I'm sure I'll be seeing you very soon.
I hope so. Thank you very much. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Well, that's going to do it for this special edition of Nutmeg Sports here from the High School of New Canaan with the 7-on-7 Griffith Tournament. For John Kovach, Dave Stewart, Coach Lou Marinelli, Marty Hersom, Josh Fisher, Kate Plazensky, Eric Gendron on the director's board, and I'm Frank Granito. We'll be back tomorrow at 1 o'clock for the semifinals and championship broadcast live here on the HAN Network.